We're at 9-0 and having rolled pretty well throughout the entire year. And I'm sure playoff anything can happen, and San Juan always brings a good, hard-fought team, and I'm sure today will be a good competitive game. Jeremy, South Summit's success all year has been good offense, explosive, skilled guys all the way throughout the lineup, and their defense has been stingy. My guess is we'll see a lot of that again today.
Yeah, I don't expect much to change for the Wildcats as I stare out this window and watch Cale Atkinson warm up his arm out there. When you talk about athletes and playmakers, it all starts with him and what he can do with that ball and his great awareness on the football field, where to place it, and boy, does he run at the right time. You know, and like you said, that first game, 51-6, you said it was? 8?
Yep.
That means nothing. We're
Right.
in playoff time, right? This is October, and it's anybody's game. So San Juan's going to come in with the mindset that they're ready to go, and the Wildcats better be ready for it. So
Absolutely. We mentioned some of those playmakers led by several players throughout the lineup as they were missing a couple of players. Jackson Lashy, broken foot. We've had a couple other guys a little limp, so we have a little bit of injury coming into the game, but I'm sure guys will strap it on and bring all they can. Kel Axon's had a fantastic year along with Keegan Strocker, Jared Danzy, Parker Graycheck, and many others, and so we'll cover those stats shortly as we go get ready for the tip-off here, or the kickoff, about 3 minutes. So we're going to have the national anthem, and we'll join you soon. Broncos will go over some of their stats throughout the years. The South Summit Band plays a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. A beautiful day for playoff football. Love 4 o'clock starts, especially in Camas and late in the year where the sun's still out and can't ask for much better weather. A little windy, but beautiful day here for some football. San Juan coming in, led by some great athletes at San Juan. Baylor Eldridge leads the passing department with 66 completions and 134 attempts, 877 yards. In the rushing department, Baylor Eldridge also leading with 143 carries, 6 yards a carry for 865 yards, with Dylan Ivans and Ethan Vess also contributing massive yards for the rushing attack. Receiving for San Juan, Dylan Ivans with 40 receptions, 538 yards, and has 3 touchdowns in the air. And not far behind him, Jaden Torgerson with 421 yards and 34 receptions. For South Summit, as we mentioned, an explosive offensive year. Kel Atkinson, 2,500 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, one of the leaders in the state, 2A through 6A. And in the rushing department, Jared Danzy leads all South Summit rushers, averaging almost 9 yards a carry, has 8 rushing touchdowns, 69 carries for 614 yards, and a wide variety of receivers for Kel Atkinson, with Jared Danzy, Parker Graycheck, Cole Reedhead, all with massive amounts of receptions, and Keegan Strocker leading with 77 as we're just underway now with the kickoff. San Juan getting the kickoff in the north end zone, and the South Summit coverage team does a great job of keeping the Broncos inside the 20-yard line to start this first offensive series. And so San Juan in the white, trimmed with bright yellow helmets, white pants, and South Summit in all green today. And Jeremy, we like to see this all green. It's easy to see these numbers.
It sure does make it a lot easier. They have a lot of uniforms that are tricky on us. Especially this 4 o'clock game will help out for that, huh?
Absolutely. We'll be a little better. As we mentioned, leading tackler Jackson Sargent's been banged up, as well as inside lineman Porter help me. Porter Fox has been banged up as well. As the first carry up the middle for San Juan is going to be held right at the line of scrimmage. No yardage on the play as number 11, Baylor Eldridge, doesn't pick up any yardage, and he'll bring up 2nd and 10. And it looks like Palmer and Eldridge have taken a lot of the passes throughout the year, and Eldridge looks like he'll be the quarterback today. And he goes in a shotgun formation. 2 men wide to the left, 2 wide to the right. 2nd and 10. Broncos hand up the middle, and again met right just past the line of scrimmage by several South Summit Wildcats. He picks up maybe a yard, gets out to the 20-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and 10, and San Juan looks to be establishing the run early.
Yeah, they're trying. They pounded right up both times. They only picked up 2 yards in 2 running plays, though, so.
Jeremy, it looks like the leading tackler for South Summit, Jackson Sargent,
is he not out there?
Not out there.
I did hear that he was hurt.
And I've seen him limping a little bit, and so that's a big loss for South Summit. As rolling right, Eldridge almost picked up. It's up in the air and almost picked up as the ball was tipped around. And a nice job by Georgie and number 1, Fillmore.
Oh, Fillmore, yes.
Fillmore and Georgie with the deflection. So it'll bring up now 4th and long. San Juan will have to punt on their first possession. And so a good stop by the Wildcat defense. Brings up a quick 3 and out, and it'll be Kyle, gosh, I keep wanting to call him Kyle. Cole Georgie will go back deep for the Wildcats. He'll stand at about the 38-yard line of South Summit. And the snap for San Juan's good. Angled, beautiful spiral punt high as Georgie takes it right at the 40, and he's heading up the middle. He's got some good yardage up across midfield as Georgie with a nice job getting the ball into San Juan territory. He gets it across the 50 to the 48-yard line. And here comes that explosive South Summit offense, led by many seniors along the line, some juniors that mix in very well, and it'll be Atkinson leading the charge here from the pistol, and they'll immediately go with no huddle. And Atkinson with 2 men wide to the left, 2 wide to the right. And
Midkirk's behind him.
Absolutely. So, things getting ready. First play on its way from South Summit in San Juan territory. Back to pass, Atkinson. He's got a man across the middle. Beautifully caught. Keegan Strocker with his 78th reception of the year. He'll pick up the first down. And South Summit wasting no time, as Strocker has been amazing all year. Impressive hands, and I think the thing I like best about him is he is not afraid to go in the middle and even go with his hands above his head across that middle, exposing that midsection. And he's fearless. Been outstanding.
Never seen him shy away from one of those yet.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the most impressive things he does. Back to Strocker again, and he makes a move trying to get to the outside. He'll pick up 5 or 6 on the play. San Juan doing a good job of stringing it out. Looks like they'll run him out of bounds around the 30-yard line. He'll pick up about 3 or 4 on the play. So South Summit immediately putting it in the air for these first 2 plays. They got 3 men wide to the left now with Cole Stubbs, Strocker, and Cole Reedhead wide to the left. The ball's on the right hash. And number 8, Jared Danzy now the right side with Midkirk. Now a quick hitter to Reedhead. And I can't decide. They're going to call that an incomplete pass. As it slips right through Reedhead's hands, he looked up the run a little quicker than he caught. So incomplete pass. It'll bring up now 3rd and 8 as South Summit trying to widen this field already. And that's one thing they mentioned, several teams have mentioned, is it's just hard to cover this field from one sideline to the next. And with these athletic receivers out there, they do very well in the open field, and it's tough to bring them down with one guy. As Atkinson now with 3rd and 7's got to get to the 23-yard line. Atkinson, lots of time. He's going up over the middle. Picked up, read beautifully by Eldridge, and Eldridge gets the interception, and Atkinson will drive him out. Atkinson frustrated as he didn't even see the safety coming across. And a careless pass there from number 16, and a beautiful catch by number 11, Eldridge, and San Juan doing just what they need as they prevent South Summit from moving the ball deep in their territory. And San Juan, first defensive break of the ball game. San Juan's going to need several of those this day, Jeremy, to stay in this thing.
I mean, that was huge right there for them. South Summit usually marching down the field, scoring a touchdown in their first possession, and all of a sudden it's a big turnaround.
I'm sure those coaches are in Kel's ear right now saying, man, you looked at him the whole time. It wasn't that hard.
It had to be a blind spot.
Yeah, he just couldn't see him at all. As they go out wide with the run, San Juan gets across the 40, 41-yard line. Running back on the play is number 25 for the Broncos. And number 25 is who? I can't even see him on the program. Number 25. We don't have a number 25.
Hey, that one thing about Cale's throw, you look at the flags out there, Cody. Look how hard they're blowing from end zone to end zone.
Absolutely.
He threw that directly into the wind, and it was short. So.
Yep, and it held up and gave him plenty of time to come over from that safety spot. He almost kind of waited for it. As Eldridge now working both ends. He goes quick to the left. Incomplete pass, a little short on the play. After a 3-yard run on first down, it's going to bring up now 3rd and 8 as Eldridge's pass is incomplete. And now with 3rd and 8 again, San Juan could really use here first down. We mentioned all year, best defense against South Summit is to keep that offense off that field. And a good time-consuming, methodical drives down the field has been really what's been very efficient against the South Summit offense, is keep them off the field. And most teams just haven't been able to do that as the defense seems to get the ball back in the offense's hands regularly. Little fake handoff. Eldridge back to pass. He's going up high. Ball is incomplete. Good coverage by Hunter Fillmore, and that'll bring up 4th down now. And at some point, San Juan will have to determine what time of this ball game they want to start going for it on 4th down. Probably not right here while their defense has still gotten to stop in that first possession.
That's right. Still 0-0.
Number 2. Back for San Juan, Shaw Nilsson.
Sophomore
will be back to punt. And who we got back this time for the Wildcats?
That looks like
Danzy. Much shorter kick. And this one's not going to be nearly as good as it was on that first one, as that official's marching his way to the first down marker. It's only going to get to the 45-yard line. So a 15-yard punt. So South Summit in great position after the interception on Atkinson. So it'll bring now 1st and 10, South Summit, as the defense has gotten 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. And this offense will try to get things going again. That's been pretty untypical of Cale. He hasn't thrown a lot of balls like that we've seen this year, and maybe, I'm sure, a little playoff jitters. As up the middle, good job by the Bronco defense, preventing South Summit from much more than about a 1-2-yard gain.
You know, you want him to get those jitters out early, just like he just did, where
Absolutely.
There's no damage, 0-0 still. Yep. It's okay. Let's learn from it and move on.
Hagen Miles deep in the backfield for South Summit. 3-yard pickup on the play. Atkinson back to pass again. This time he's getting flushed a little bit. Now he's in trouble. He's going to be drugged down on a sack by San Juan back at the 43-yard line. And big number 79 for the Broncos. And Landon Nilsson for San Juan with the big sack. Put South Summit deep in a 3rd and 13 situation. Got to get to the San Juan 45 for a first down. So again, a little bit of hesitation there from Atkinson in that possession. Had the chance to get rid of the ball and didn't, as he rolls right. Now he's got a man open coming back, and it goes through the hands of number 8, Jared Danzy. And so South Summit's going to be in a punting situation, and that's one thing we haven't seen a lot of punts out of South Summit all year.
Seen one, actually. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, we've gone on 4th down so many times.
From like the 5-yard line.
So we never know what it's going to be. And like here, it's 4th and 13.
Look, this isn't a punting formation.
We don't even think about a situation. Sometimes Atkinson has looked at it, and he'll just quick kick it. So we'll see if he does that here. Nope, fake. Now we get the left-handed soccer style as he boots it deep. Nice kick by Midkirk with the left foot, and it's going to settle down inside the 20-yard line. Beautiful kick by Sebastian Midkirk, and that's a pretty effective way. They don't even put anybody back, and why would you when you've seen how many 4th downs South Summit has gone on through the year in terms of, you know, you've been watching any kind of film. They go, South Summit doesn't punt the ball.
That's right.
And so beautiful punt by Midkirk, and it deadens right there at the 17-yard line. And San Juan now with their 3rd possession, as we're 7:45 left in this first quarter. South Summit's been stopped 2 consecutive possessions. And the Broncos got to be feeling good here as they will try to put some points on the board on this 3rd possession. Handoff to big number 33 up the middle. He's got good yardage.
There's some yards.
He's going to pick up 8 on the play. And that's Ivans.
They've
on the run.
Picked up 4 yards on the first 2 possessions. Pick up 8 right there. They've already doubled their output.
So a nice run by Ivans on the play. And so Dylan Ivans, the senior running back for the Broncos, gets the ball out to the 25-yard line. Good yardage, and San Juan's got to like 2nd and 2. Can open up the playbook a little more here as Eldridge now is going to fake the handoff, and he's met by Wyatt McNeil. Big number 53 waiting the handoff, and he drives him back. And just like that, South Summit puts San Juan into a 3rd and long. Beautiful play by the senior as McNeil broke the blocking up front early from his defensive tackle spot and was waiting the handoff. And it's good to see McNeil healthy as he's been banged up as well. But again, no Jackson Sargent out there. Do you see him on the sideline?
No, I saw.
He's even dressed.
I think they're standing over there by Parker and by Lashy. I saw them together.
So it's going to be 3rd. Out wide comes nice pass from Eldridge out to number 17, Shea Laws of the Broncos. So the first completed pass by Baylor Eldridge, and the Broncos move the chains. 1st and 10 out to the 33-yard line. And a nice reception falling forward for that 1st down. So South Summit now with some new guys playing in. As we mentioned, number 12 for the Wildcats. Stepping in for Jackson Sargent. Dylan Crawford, the sophomore, stepping in. Big shoes for Jackson Sargent, the leading tackler for South Summit, and stood up there hard, but spinning out of the tackle. Number 3, Ivans, doing a good job as he got stood right up there. I think it was Cole Reedhead. Nope, it wasn't Reedhead. It was, who was that, man? He stepped right in and stood up Ivans, but he spun out of it. Nice job. What was it?
Was it Miles Hagan?
May have been Hagan Miles. Beautiful job by Ivans to spin out of the tackle. He picked up 5 yards on the play, and San Juan on the move, moving the ball in the air and on the ground. 5:37 left, 1st quarter, in motion. And Eldridge fakes the handoff. He's trying to go on a sweep right. Nothing there, and he's driven down hard by 53. McNeil having a heck of a day so far as 2 tackles for loss on this drive. And from that tackle spot, he slid right down the line of scrimmage and hit Eldridge hard. He'll lose 2 or 3 on the play, and he'll bring up 3rd and 8 from the 35.
And to answer your question, number 52, Sargent's 52, right?
Oh, yep, there he is. So number 52, Jackson Sargent, has been a mainstay at middle linebacker for the last 2 years and does an outstanding job. So obviously he's too banged up to go right here. He is dressed, so I'm not sure what that means. We'll see how that progresses throughout the game. 3rd and 8, Eldridge. Got some time now rolling left. He's got a man wide open, and Sebastian Midkirk comes up and hits him hard, but a beautiful catch as all kinds of room on that left side by number 48. And number 48 for the Broncos. And I don't see a 48 either. We must have a bad roster, but it was a great catch and a great throw, and it's a 1st down for San Juan, consecutive 1st downs. 4:33, no score. San Juan right where they want to be here, burning clock and moving the ball as they hand off, no fake handoff to Eldridge, and Eldridge is going to get knocked down as he went out wide. Beautiful tackle by number 21, Cole Reedhead. There's a lot of seniors on this South Summit team playing their last home game in their really successful career. It's not often you've played in 3 consecutive state championship games or at least been on the sideline, and they'd like nothing better to be in a 4th as they won the first one as a freshman, lost in consecutive state championships to Beaver as sophomores and juniors, and now would like to get back there and win one for themselves. San Juan doing a great job of standing in their way. 2nd and 12 from the 46-yard line. Eldridge going out to that side again. This time he overthrows the intended receiver, number 2, Sean Nielsen. And Jeremy, they're giving him a lot of space on that side. They sure
are. He's got it both times. I mean, he's got at least 5-yard cushion. Plenty of time for the quarterback to throw it to him without anybody taking a chance of deflecting that pass. Going to have to tighten that coverage up over there on that left side.
And the coordinator loves to just watch that and see if they start creeping where you can double move. So we'll see how that plays out. Eldridge is going to roll left again, trying to find a little room to throw the ball. He turns the body, and he throws it way out of bounds this time on 3rd and 12, and it's going to bring up 4th and long. As no one in the vicinity of that pass, Eldridge threw it away. Didn't want to get the sack back in the backfield, so that'll stop the clock at 3:38, and it'll be a punting situation again for San Juan. And gradually over these possessions, you've noticed that the field position has just gradually moved South Summit back further and further as Georgie started at about midfield, then he went back to about the 25, and now who do we got back there? Is that Danzy?
That is Danzy,
Looks like Danzy's back there, so the kick and another short kick.
Watch out, Georgie.
And it's going to land almost on Cole Georgie. Takes an outstanding San Juan bounce, and it's going to go all the way down to the 11-yard line, where he will do a great job of maintaining Danzy from keeping any kind or getting any kind of progression with that return. So it'll be at about the 11-yard line, and it'll be South Summit football, 3:29, by far the slowest offensive start we've seen out of South Summit all year.
Look where they are now, yeah,
and
seriously.
Now deep in their own territory, having put, I'd like to go back to the history, but I'm guessing we haven't gone first quarter without scoring all year. And Atkinson's going to go up high. He's looking for Danzy, and it's picked off again. Underthrown again. I think you mentioned it again. That win held that one up again, and consecutive interceptions from Atkinson. This time number 40 for the Broncos. And number 40 is no 40 on our program. Jaden Torgerson. So Jaden Torgerson with the interception. Give San Juan credit. Had him tightly covered. Ball underthrown. Up into that win again. Held it up. And San Juan into South Summit territory at the 38-yard line. Handoff to Ivans. Banging through. Still moving as he gets across the 35. Ball's on the ground. And a scramble for it. Clear down to the 25-yard line. If San Juan gets on top of it, they'll pick up the first down.
They did,
And Jaden Torgerson again from interception to fumble recovery. And you like fumble recoveries where you pick up first down yardage. And San Juan will move the chains now, and things going San Juan's way early on in this ball game. And 26-yard line, 1st and 10, San Juan.
Definitely not what the Wildcats are used to. I know that. You can see it on the sidelines and the way their body language is standing there. What's going on?
And Eldridge up the middle on a quarterback drop. Beautiful tackle inside as he would have had a lot of yardage ahead of him. But number 51 for South Summit trips him up. That's Porter Fox saving a lot of yardage on a beautiful play call from San Juan on a quarterback draw, and he had blockers out in front of him. Fox snuck in underneath and tripped him up. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. So San Juan mixing the playbook up quite a bit here early on in this first quarter. And Eldridge will keep it, and he's hit hard out on that outside by Cole Stubbs. And lots of helpers with him. He'll lose about a half a yard. He'll bring up 3rd and a short 9.
61. Kind of held on to his foot, I think. Was that Gordon Hermanson holding on to his foot, not letting him go anywhere to let Cole finish that up?
So Alex Johnson, Cole Stubbs now will switch sides on that defensive end. Fox, McNeil inside at the tackles.
That's Gordon Hermanson. I don't think it's Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's 61, not 51.
Oh, it's 61. All right, so Fox not in there. So Hermanson stepping in, making some good plays as Eldridge going to look back to the right, and it's going to be close to intercepted. And great position. Is that Hunter Fillmore?
That was
Fillmore with the great coverage. Almost comes up with the pick. And now, which 51? There's Porter Fox, 51. 61 coming out, Hermanson. 4th and 9. And with the wind at your back, might not be a bad time to get some points on the board. I'm not sure what the San Juan kicking situation is, as they look like they'll keep the offense on the field. So Eldridge, big play early in this first quarter. 1:40 left. Eldridge back to pass on 4th and 9. He's got time. He's got a man across the middle. 2 Ivans. Touchdown, South Summit. And it looks like the ball kicked out, but he was across the goal line anyway. Regardless, nonetheless, San Juan gets the first points of this ball game on a beautiful post route by Ivans across the middle and softly laid right into the hands of him by Eldridge. And San Juan strikes first as they've just gradually changed the field position, and they punch it in on a couple of interceptions by South Summit. And it's a 6-0 lead by San Juan. Kicking the extra point will be number 11. Is that Eldridge too?
Number 11 is Yep, Baylor
Eldridge. Doing it all here for San Juan, getting interceptions, throwing touchdown passes, running the ball, and now kicking the extra points. Kick block, no good. And it'll now be a 6-0 lead. We'll take our first break of the day as San Juan surprising the Wildcats early, leading by a touchdown. Great start for the San Juan Broncos here in Camas today. South Summit and the Broncos lined up with a nice battle early on as the Broncos have played a great first quarter, getting 2 interceptions from the explosive offense of South Summit, and they put a nice play of their own in the air into the end zone. San Juan leading early 6-0, and they'll be changing sides of the field, and we'll see if that does play. Probably how many mile-an-hour wind would you say, Jeremy? 25, 30?
It's at least 20 out there, yeah. It's non-stop is what it is. It doesn't even break.
Flag straight ahead. A short end-over-end kick. It'll land at 25. It'll bounce out, falling around. Georgie passes on. That looks like it's to Strocker. And Strocker will get about to the 20, 21-yard line. And so South Summit in a position they have not been in much this year, down 6-0, especially here at home, being the heavy favorites on this first round of this quarterfinal situation of 2A football. A lot of games going on, all happening today at 4 o'clock. So it'll be 1st and 10, South Summit, as South Summit getting their personnel in place. Georgie out to that right slot spot, 2 to the wide right, 2 to the left. And in motion goes Strocker. Handoff to Strocker as they get the ball on the ground. And Strocker picks up only a couple. Good tackling inside by San Juan's number 3, Ivans, and number 52 from that middle linebacker, nope, 54 from the middle linebacker spot, Jens Jones on the tackle. Picks up 2. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. And Jeremy, there must be listening, as they said, run the ball into that wind.
That's right.
And we'll see what they got right here, or at least a couple of these short little passes. Let these playmakers do something in that open field. As Atkinson, little quarterback draw, he's got a lot of room. He's across the 35, the 40, cuts it back, he's still up. And he's across the 45, 46-yard line. Great play call by Coach Graycheck as Atkinson picks up big yardage, about 23 yards on the play, and that thing opened way up. And almost to midfield. Atkinson, as you mentioned, impressive seeing the field as a quarterback and does a nice job of eluding defenders. 1st and 10, South Summit, and now a handoff on the keeper or over onto this other side. Who we got there? Strocker. Having a hard time finding any opening. He's held to no yardage on the play. The ball gets right back to the line of scrimmage. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
19 seconds left here in this first quarter.
Depending on what they do here, it could be the last play of the quarter. Pitch right, over to Miles. Miles cuts it up hard. He's got running room. He's still up, cuts it back. Miles needs one block. He's got a chance to go. And Hagen Miles is going to get into the end zone.
Quarter score.
46 yards out. Hagen Miles breaking tackles and had good blockers downfield. And South Summit strikes back with a 44-yard run by the junior running back with the injuries, getting some carries today. And Miles, big run for the big red-headed junior.
Really
get the catch.
Come up with that second speed. Did you see that after
Bennett turned, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Great job by Hagen Miles. And just what South Summit needed. One of the best kickers in 2A, Georgie, with the kick down. It's up and into that wind. It's straight through the middle. And at the end of this first quarter, South Summit goes back out on top, leading 7-6 on a 46-yard run by Hagan Miles. So South Summit will switch ends of the field, have the wind at their back. My guess is Georgia will take advantage with that good 20-mile-an-hour wind at his back. They'll hold it up. And my guess is Georgia will put this thing into the end zone. We just got the word Sargent and Graycheck having some back issues. Neither into the ball game.
Clock.
And it'll be Georgia getting time put on the clock here, putting that 12 minutes on. There it is. And Georgia now will kick off for South Summit. So some big playmakers out of the ball game for South Summit. And Georgie's kick booms high and deep, and it's going to go over Eldridge's head. He's going to have to field it right at the 1-yard line, and South Summit's got him corralled down early, and they'll keep him inside the 15-yard line. Number 11, Stubbs. Number 13 for South Summit is Connor Clegg. And they're the first two men to get there. Nice job by Georgie.
How about that bounce?
That was backspin. An ideal bounce. Georgie couldn't have placed it any better right there, as South Summit will put San Juan deep in their own territory. And that's really the problem with South Summit, Jeremy. If you're an opponent, is you work your guts out the whole quarter to get a lead. And, you know, just like that, the explosiveness, and you're right behind the 1 point already. And it's funny how those extra points come to haunt you a bit, as now Eldridge, hands off, hit hard. Beautiful job by McNeil again behind the line of scrimmage. McNeil, the defensive playmaker thus far for the Wildcats, disrupting all kinds of plays in the Bronco backfield. And McNeil again will push the Broncos back. They'll lose a yard. It'll bring up 2nd and 11. And that's one thing that these other men here that are missing some of their playmates are stepping up, and Wyatt's certainly doing it right here.
That's right. Give him a chance.
Absolutely.
Give a guy a chance. See what he can do.
So 2nd and 11. Ball at the 14-yard line. And 3 men wide to the left, trying to isolate on the backside. And South Summit's all over him. Beautiful tackle by Fillmore, all over the intended receiver out there. Number 11 for
No.
We got 2 11s. We got the receiver. I'm confused over there. Eldridge over to somebody.
Maybe it was 17. Yeah. Shea Laws.
All right. Okay. Number 17, Shea Laws, the receiver over there. And Fillmore did a great job of breaking down and tripping him up. He picks up only a yard or 2. And it'll bring up now 3rd and a long 9 for San Juan, as they do not want to have to punt into this wind deep in their own territory. He'll roll left. Baylor Eldridge trying to get him on an out route. He sells it out wide to number 2, the intended receiver for San Juan. That's Shaw Nielsen. Flag down on the field. And that'd be a huge break if San Juan could get a first down here after having an incomplete pass. Ineligible man downfield. So South Summit will probably decline that, as they do. Bring up 4th and 9. And it'll be a punting situation here for San Juan. And now we'll see what we haven't seen a punt have to go up into this area yet, other than the Midkirk one that did pretty well. So we'll see, as the punter here for San Juan's done a pretty good job. Had a one that was a hair short, but it's done well. And so almost at his goal line, about on the 4-yard line, Strocker waiting back, and the ball's getting held up. That's going to give Strocker some room to run. Did he call a fair catch? Woo, Keegan. You're going to see that one on the film and go, there wasn't anybody within 15 yards, but secured nonetheless. And ball will be placed at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10, South Summit. And it'll be Wildcat football into San Juan territory. 10-17 left, second quarter. South Summit leading 7-6 after the great run by Hagan Miles. This time Midkirk will be in the backfield for South Summit. Danzy out wide to the right. And so South Summit will try to go to work again and extend a 1-point lead on a successful drive. Atkinson gets the snap, quick hitter over to Danzy. Danzy makes a move, gets across the 40, gets driven out of bounds. Good job by Danzy. And for that South Summit offense, that's like a handoff as they do it often. Picks up about 8 on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd and 2. Ball at the 38-yard line, got to get to the 36. Again, same formation, Midkirk. They go back to Danzy again. Danzy's going to pick up several more. He's across the 30, down to the 32, 33, and picking up actually 27, 28, picks up close to 10 yards. And it's really that simple, as Coach Graycheck basically just saying, hey, it worked last time. You're still playing back. We can pick up 7, 8, 9 yards a pop. And South Summit's going to have to see what San Juan does. This time he plays him a hair tighter, and they come and basically triple team Danzy.
Where's everybody else? Who's got the line?
Basically 4 up front man, 1 backer, as they basically are triple teaming Danzy over here. Now they're going to hand it up the middle to Midkirk, and Midkirk's tripped up on a great tackle by number 54. That's Jens Jones of San Juan. And a nice prevention of many more than a couple of yards. So making some adjustments, San Juan did. Forced the run up the middle, and the interior guys did the job. They hand it off again. This time it's Miles, and he's drugged down. He'll pick up 3 or 4 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. And just a lot of personnel we haven't seen a lot in the backfield this year, isn't it?
It sure is. There's a lot of different looks. I mean, I recognize the quarterback, but that's about it.
I mean, we get Strucker, Cold Reedhead still out there. But Danzy's playing a lot of wide out here as Midkirk and Miles stepping in behind Atkinson, running the football. They hand off to Miles again. Miles covering up. He's got yardage. Flag down as Miles is going to go in. But that one may come back as a flag was thrown right here on the sideline. Excuse me. It looks like it's going to come back as the official comes up. Holding on South Summit. And so a 24-yard run by Miles will be negated by a holding penalty, and that'll bring a 3rd down play
3rd and 14
back now to about 14 yards. So big penalty on South Summit, and a good break for the Broncos as Miles drug a Bronco into the end zone. 3rd and 14, ball at the 33. They got to get to the 18-yard line. So about 15 to go. So Atkinson, see if he puts the ball up in the air with the wind at his back this time. He's dropping back to pass. He's got plenty of time. Now he's going to scramble. He's up the middle, and he's got good yardage. He kicks it outside, but a good open field tackle by number 27, Landon Pemberton. Beautiful job of keeping Atkinson from picking up the 1st down. He picks up about 7, 8 on the play. He about cuts it in half. It's going to bring up 4th and 8. Ball at the 26-yard line. South Summit wasting no time going for it as they immediately up to the goal or the line of scrimmage. 7:58 and counting. And Atkinson getting directions from Coach Graycheck, calling his receivers the hand signal.
Got to expect a pass.
And back to pass. Atkinson trying to find somebody. Comebacker. Beautiful job by Danzy. And now a flag comes in late.
Flag after the play.
Woo, that's some either late hit or unsportsmanlike.
That was so late. The boy, he caught it and was out of bounds, and then he threw the flag in the backfield.
Wow. That looked like it had to have been unsportsmanlike or a personal
That's
foul.
what I was
like you
thinking.
said, the play had already been blown dead, clear on the sideline.
It was over, and he threw it back where the quarterback
That
was.
one will not sit well on this South Summit sideline. Consecutive holding calls preventing touchdowns and first downs. Woo.
Now we're fourth
Quite a
and
call.
20.
4th and 20. And big penalties against the Wildcats. So one more time, South Summit going to have to pull something out of their hat here on 4th down and 20. As they got to get inside their own, or the San Juan 20, at the 38-yard line. Back to pass, trying to set up the screen. Not there. Atkinson's going to have to scramble. Gets a block. Now he's drugged from behind. Beautiful tackle.
Wow.
And number
50.
25.
25, there you go.
Do we know a 25? We don't have a 25. We're going to have to work on who 25 is.
25 is Ethan Vess.
Ethan Vess, number 25. How did you get that?
I just got connections.
Yeah, attaboy. Ethan Vess, we get onto our roster with an extraordinary tackle on Atkinson in the open field.
Through the block, right?
Absolutely.
He went right through that block.
Ran through the block as the South Summit blocker didn't get much on Vess, and he makes the play. 7:32 in this half, and the time of possession's got to be very similar, if not in San Juan's favor, as they hand off right. And no pickup on the play in there. Bruce Mitchell along with Stubbs and Hermanson.
Is that South Summit's third turnover or fourth turnover?
Third turnover.
Third turnover.
Yep, 2 interceptions and a turnover on downs. And give San Juan credit as they are right in the ball game right here.
Nothing
and
like
much,
that first
like
game.
you said, turn of events from early in the season. First game in August, it was all South Summit, and San Juan making plays as Eldridge up the middle. Quarterback try, he picks up good yardage. About 7-8 yards on the play, ball to the 46-yard line. And I like the play calling there of San Juan as they are mixing it up and trying to negate that pass rush of South Summit. Inside men for the Broncos, clearing holes as Crawford helping out on the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. And so San Juan starting to establish a little bit of a running game. Some creative play calling inside to Ivans. Ivans is going to pick up the first down, and he'll sneak across the 43 to the 42, picks up the first down by about a half a yard. 1st and 10, San Juan now into South Summit territory, and they got to love that clock moving with ball in hand and in South Summit territory. And this will be a good wake-up call for South Summit. They better get things rolling here because a hungry team who's been hammered early in the year is ready for a big upset.
That's right.
And Eldridge now with his Broncos on the move. He's going to hand off
What a fake.
to Vess, and Vess has got good yardage across the 30. Still up, dragging Wildcats down to the 26-yard line. And Vess will get the first down and more. He picks up 16 on the play, and as you mentioned, what a fake handoff.
57 caught Alex Johnson. He went after the wrong guy.
Good ball handling.
Oh, got called back?
We got a penalty. I didn't even see the flag.
No, I was looking up numbers.
So we'll see what the penalty is. So big penalty against San Juan, holding. Now it looks like the officials got holding on their mind. 3 out of the last 5 plays have been holding.
Got holding on the mind.
Holding on the mind. It'll bring up now 2nd and 12. I think one of the toughest calls in football. It could probably be called every play if you want to look for it. Eldridge in motion, goes Ivans. Fake handoff, Eldridge back to pass. He's got a man on about a 8-10 yard out. He gets the reception. Number 13 on the play is Carlos. How do you pronounce that last name?
Carlos Roisred. Rios Red. Is it just Rios? Yes,
not on
Rios
this one.
Red,
Where
right
is he?
there.
Rios Red. We hope that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if it's not. They'll bring up 2nd down now, and about 4 to go, so good yardage on the first down and long. He's splitting about half what they had lost on that penalty. So 2nd and short. And in motion.
That penalty was a spot
Rios
foul,
Red gets the handoff. Good hard hit up the middle. and picks up maybe a half a yard on the third. Mothers there with the hard hit. It'll bring up now third. 7 left. And kind of a surprising score here early is San all they can want. And we're here at home. Broncos making the over 300-mile trip up here to Kansas. And Johnson bouncing on his feet, was on the ground for quite some time, and Eldridge on the spot. Kick back to the 40-yard line.
That was huge because I think that he had enough room there to pick up that first down.
It almost like he lost the hand. Get out of there. So, big play again now. Fourth down. Is at the 32 line, so good 8 yards. And we'll see what's might be a great one. Ball's blown dead. Beautiful punt
flag
into the wind. My gosh.
Wow.
That was a 40-yard into the wind. And what's the call?
Because they're backing up.
Ocean up front. Play ball back to about the 40 line.
Kick that far.
Beautiful punt. Yeah, San Juan punter has been very busy early on as quick half. What's happening?
He marked off 5 yards.
So we're back to the 40. All right. Time. Number 2 gets another high kick, angled away from going to get it's going back inside the can't ask much than that into the wind. About a 38, 39-yard punt with no return. With 4:09 left, leading by a point, South Summit would like nothing better than put a drive together with the wind in their back, and that's playing a role as no team here. They both scored with the wind at their back, and South Summit will go into that third quarter with the wind into their face, so a great opportunity here to try to put some points on the board. And South Summit, with all the changes in personnel,
it's got 3 different receivers that are usually out there. You know, you got Fillmore, Reedhead, and Danzy. I mean, they play a lot of receivers, but they're usually not your starting core.
A big hole up the middle for Miles. He cuts it back, and he's across the 30, 32-yard line. Tackled by number 27, Landon Pemberton. Prevented a much, much bigger gain as Miles was almost looking for somebody to hit, and there wasn't anybody out there.
He's used to playing defense.
Yeah. Miles with good yardage. He's a rumbler there. Hand it to him again. He's hopping players, dragging players.
You see
Miles just dragging.
Oh, yeah.
A Bronco behind him. Good yardage by Miles, and he picks up close to 9 on the play. And Miles getting close to 100 yards in this first half as he's taken advantage of an opportunity to run the ball. Second and a short one. Ball at the 41. Clock counting at 3:32. South Summit on the move. Atkinson back to pass. He goes across the middle, and it's short. And Atkinson's short to, is that Danzy?
That was Danzy, yes.
Danzy,
he had
the
some
intended
pressure.
receiver. And probably the least amount of passing yards South Summit has had all year in the first half. As give the San Juan defense credit, as they have done a nice job of containing this explosive South Summit offense who averages close to 45, 50 points a game. Little quick hitter out to Danzy. Danzy trying to shake a couple, and he does. Another move, and Danzy makes a nice play out of nothing as he got out of the hands of 3 Bronco defenders. He picks up the first down, gets it across midfield, and that's the problem with playmakers out that wide.
That's all Jared Danzy. It had nothing to do with anybody on that field but Jared Danzy just making moves. It was pretty.
So Danzy on the quick hitter by Atkinson picks up the first down. South Summit now in San Juan territory as Atkinson's got his offense in the Broncos side of the field. In motion goes Strocker. Pitch over to Miles. Miles across the 45, gets run out of bounds at about the 42, 41-yard line. He'll pick up 3 or 4 on the play and run out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 2:49 left. It'll bring up 2nd and 6. And Miles looks like he's a bit gassed, as he is certainly not used to having to play every down.
He's doing fantastic, though, isn't he?
He's doing awesome. And I like how Miles protects the ball. I mean, he gets it in there tight, often with both hands. And that's one good thing you like to see out of a new young back in the backfield, is protecting the football. Hope I haven't just jinxed him here as they send Strocker in motion. Pitch right. He's got good blocking downfield. Strocker cuts it back. He's across it. He's got a chance. One man to beat. Strocker's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, South Summit. Looked like he might step out of bounds, but he tiptoed along the sideline. And a 46-yard run on the pitch from Atkinson to Strocker. And isn't it interesting? Long runs today, providing the scoring for South Summit. Almost identical length runs of Strocker and Miles. And the Wildcats put up their 2nd touchdown of the day, and they lead 13-6 with 2:38 left. And just what the Wildcats needed to put up a score. And with the kick, with the wind. And Georgie's kick is no good. He misses it. So that puts it at 13-6, and a break there for the Broncos. We'll take a break. Wildcats leading by 7. So South Summit puts an impressive drive together deep at their own territory. Where did they start that? At about the 8 after the great punt from San Juan. So they went 92 yards, mostly on the ground. A few passes there in the middle of that field, but Strocker sends it off onto the end zone with a 46-yard run. South Summit now leading 13-6, and Georgie will boot it deep and right. And awaiting there is Eldridge. He hands off, double reverse. And now Vess on his way on the right side. Got a little room, but not much, as the South Summit coverage team does a nice job staying at home, and they drive him out of bounds at about the 24, 25-yard line. So a little trickery by the Broncos. Gets them a few yards, and it'll be first down for San Juan. And they want to run this clock right out. They certainly don't want to give South Summit the ball back. We'll see how risky they want to be putting the ball in the air. But I'll bet if you were to ask them prior to this game, if they went down at halftime, only down a touchdown, they'd take it. So they might want to be careful right here. Certainly don't want to give up a cheap score to South Summit late in this second half. And now out wide, handoff to Vess, and Vess gets the corner and picks up good yardage. And he'll get his Reedhead.
Great angle by Reedhead.
Absolutely. His Reedhead kind of slowed the progress of Vess up as he picks up about 6-7 yards on the play. Keeps him in bounds. Clock continues to run. San Juan in no hurry. And it's depend on what South Summit wants to do with timeouts. So very content to just let time run off this clock. Down by 7. And ball at the 28-yard line. They need a short 4 to get the first down. Eldridge, little quick hitter across the right side. And coming from the middle is number 32.
32 is
McCall Rose. All kinds of guys having to fill in for Fox and Sargent in that middle.
It's a group effort to replace one player, isn't it?
It is a group effort to replace guys like Graycheck and Fox and Sargent. Really the core of this South Summit senior team. And little handoff to the left, and nothing there. Several South Summit men are going to hold him to actually drive him back a couple of yards. And number 73, Miles, and Drew Howard there as well. As hobbling off comes Wyatt McNeil and Howard. Hopefully Wyatt's okay, as he's had a great first half, and he looks hurt.
He's definitely got something.
An ankle or a knee. Hopefully he'll be okay. 2nd and 11. Eldridge, little pump fake. He's going to go up top. Good coverage by Fillmore, but a great catch on the sideline, as Fillmore was all over him, but he threw it just right to the outside shoulder. And the catch made by number 40, Jagan Torgerson. They'll move the clock. Timeout, San Juan. And give San Juan credit, as they are going right at the Wildcats here in this first half, as they throw about a 28, 30-yard play on the outside. Timeout taken by the Broncos now that they are in South Summit territory. So we'll take one more break here before the half. South Summit trying to hold on to a 7-point lead. So San Juan takes a timeout, probably adjusting a little bit of strategy here late, as they got a chance to put more points on the board. 41 seconds left, ball at the 45-yard line. And Eldridge played an outstanding quarterback here in this first half. And Eldridge back to pass. He's got some time, goes up across the middle. He's got a man, it's caught! And Ivans just barely holding on. Fillmore, as Ivans on a beautiful catch and beautifully played by Eldridge, and San Juan knocking on the door. They're inside the 20-yard line, down to the 15, 1st and 10, deep into South Summit territory. And another timeout put on by the Broncos. An impressive effort in this first half by San Juan. Hey,
Eldridge,
they're showing me they're not content with a 6-point deficit. As what do you got to lose, right? They're going right at them, and got a chance here to tie this ball game up. Woo!
Go hard or go home. This could be your last game of the season. Give it everything you got, and that's what San Juan's doing. I think they're playing fantastic. I think Eldridge, he's a senior, isn't he?
He is, and he's played an outstanding game.
He is giving some leadership to this team.
And he plays all 3 facets of the game. He returns kicks, does extra points, he plays safety and's got an interception, and he's the quarterback, and he's been dual kind of a weapon there, running the ball and throwing the ball. So just an outstanding athlete and senior leader here by San Juan. And they've had some great help. Ivan's having an outstanding game running and catching the ball. And he went up high to get that one in traffic. And San Juan knocking on the door. So 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the South Summit. 32.8 seconds left on the clock. And snap. Eldridge wants to roll right, trying to find somebody. Now he's going to tuck it and run. He's got yardage, and he'll be driven out of bounds. Nice play call by San Juan.
Flag. They're saying for
late hit. So Eldridge looks like he picks up 5 or 6 yards on the play. A big penalty here would be huge, as it would move him inside the 5-yard line if it were on South Summit.
Keegan's talking to the ref, saying
time and location of that one looks like possibly a late hit out of bounds. I guess it could be a face mask, or I can't imagine possibly a clip, but he's pacing it off what half the distance is. So they're going to march it off against South Summit. It's going to be 1st and goal, San Juan. And it looks like we got a dead ball, personal foul, late hit on South Summit. So that will move the ball inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal as San Juan trying to tie this ball game up. 25.6 seconds left. They've used at least 2 timeouts. Not sure if they have one left.
They do.
They have 1 timeout left. So can still try to run the ball up the middle if they want. South Summit's going to take one of their own. Woo! Things getting tight right here. San Juan knocking on the door and only had 41 seconds. I think there was only 41 seconds when this drive started. Was it?
No, I think it was a minute.
Oh, it was 2 minutes.
It was a minute something.
Yeah, it was a little over 2 minutes. So anyway, good clock management and a very effective drive here put on by the Broncos. Other games throughout the state in 2A is North Sevier has Delta all tied up at 14. 5 o'clock games to start. Looks like they pushed those 2 games back. American Leadership at Beaver starting at 5, and Millard at Grand with a 5 o'clock start as well. 3A quarterfinals underway. Juan Diego leading Grantsville 14-7. Morgan beating Richfield by a point in the second quarter 7-6. And Manti at Summit Academy at 5 and Union at Juab at 5. So a big day of playoff football in 2A and 3A. First and goal, San Juan, 25.6 seconds left. Eldridge in the shotgun. He's got one man to his right. Eldridge is going to take it up the middle. Eldridge will walk into the end zone. Flag comes in late.
It's going to be on 79 there.
Is that going to be a hold?
A chop block, I think. He was on the ground.
That's another costly penalty. There have been big penalties. Holding on San Juan. Wow. And a huge penalty on the Broncos as they would have tied this ball game up and pretty easily on that run as Eldridge went in basically unscathed. And that'll move it now back to the 15. And let's make note of that play in this ball game, Jeremy, because that would have tied this ball game up. Who kicked off who had the ball to start this ball game? We did? Okay, so South Summit will get the possession in the second half. So this is a big, obvious possession here for the Broncos. 22.4 seconds. Eldridge back to pass. He's going across the middle. Ball's up, and it's intercepted. Huge turn of events for South Summit. And Cole Georgie with the deflected pass gets the interception. And a huge penalty turns this quarter, these last few seconds, completely around as the Wildcats escape, dodge a bullet.
They dodged a cannonball.
Absolutely.
A cannonball named Eldridge.
And South Summit with 16 seconds left. Coach Graycheck always keeps us guessing, but I'm guessing they're going to say, woo,
one run,
take a knee and get on out of here.
Do we have enough room to take a knee?
Not in the pistol.
No.
I don't think so, so we might have to just dive it in or just give it to Midkirk. But we'll see.
Quarterback keep, I hope.
And handoff up the middle. Midkirk with the run. Still on his feet, Midkirk, and he'll get across the 10-yard line. Good run by Sebastian Midkirk. And timeout by South Summit.
Just in case you can go 90 yards in 8 seconds, you never know.
They've got the playmakers to do it, so a quick timeout by South Summit on a good run. 9-yard run by Midkirk, giving them a little room as Graycheck's bringing the water in. That's not often you see that.
I really like this San Juan team, what they're doing today. I mean, I have not seen other teams hold South Summit like this on our field yet this year. But San Juan is doing a phenomenal job, both defensively and offensively.
And as we mentioned, huge underdogs, having lost to South Summit by 43 points earlier in the year. And as you mentioned, it all means nothing, does it?
That's right.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 1. 8.2 seconds left in the first half.
Gonna have to take a Hail Mary maybe? I mean,
and it's surprising. Well, they've gone to that hook and ladder a couple times when they've wanted stuff. Got to be careful throwing the ball out to the wide sides of the field here. Certainly don't want to pick six. Got to throw the ball down the field.
Make sure you're...
So Atkinson will drop back. He wants to roll right. And a little hitter on the outside. 3.2 seconds. Danzy with a nice catch on the sideline. Good pass from Atkinson. They'll pick up about 10 more. It'll bring the ball out now to the 23, 24-yard line. They'll have one more play with 3.2 seconds left. And so probably now is your chance to try to throw something deep, see what crazy kinds of things can happen. Atkinson, a little one across the middle, and a little pitch to Danzy. He's got some room, and now he'll pitch again to Midkirk. And a nice play call, likes it, but San Juan does all they need to do and hold it up just long enough for that clock to run out. And an outstanding half by South Summit and San Juan, putting on a great show as the Broncos doing a great job of holding this explosive South Summit offense to 13 points. Great job on the defense and offensive ends, and Jeremy probably can't be surprised, but probably not the half we expected.
Definitely not what we expected, but any given Sunday is what I want to say. And look at this drill team going out there. Must be Halloween coming up, huh?
Halloween, so enjoy the South Summit 5-eens. We'll get some stats put together, and we'll be back with third quarter action as South Summit and San Juan locked up in a quarterfinal matchup here in Camas today. South Summit leading 13-6. We're just ready to wrap up the halftime here at Camas, South Summit and San Juan in a great football game, 2A quarterfinals, as South Summit leads 13-6. Jeremy, it's an interesting half and certainly a hotly contested one, and certainly San Juan in a great position to be able to make a huge upset in 2A football, as South Summit's been a heavy favorite throughout this year and heavy favorite in this ball game. And to San Juan's credit, they've made adjustments, they've changed things up, they've creatively played calls, they've managed turnovers, and they've held the ball in their hands a lot of this first half, and it's really been helpful to them to keep this thing in a manageable spot for them to be able to win this ball game.
They sure are. It's been the lowest scoring half that I've seen so far at this Wildcat field this year. So it's still anybody's game, only down by 7. That's nothing. That's nothing come October time. That's one turnover.
That's one crazy play, exactly right. And we've seen some big plays here. South Summit with 2 close to 50-yard runs, one by Strocker and one by Hagen Miles. And San Juan getting an unfortunate penalty late in that second quarter as they had a touchdown. Eldridge ran in and would have tied this ball game up, but he had to march it back 10 from a holding penalty. And then South Summit got the interception, which was really the only difference in this ball game thus far. It would have been tied up, and now down out across the 32, 33-yard line, Keegan Strocker, and he will get the South Summit Wildcats out into pretty good field position at their own 33-yard line with the ball, wind in their face again. As we mentioned, San Juan did a good job in that last couple of minutes with that wind in their face to march it right down, and really had an opportunity to really put a good scare, and still have, into South Summit here at home today. And so with the long bus ride ahead of them tonight, things could get very happy for them if they do. But there's Hagen Miles.
There's Hagen Miles.
Just smashing through, as he has well over 100 yards in rushing today and has stepped in nicely with the injury South Summit has. One of the leading receivers for South Summit, Parker Graycheck, out. And that's moved Danzy out to the receiver spot, and they've gone to Miles often, and Miles has just been hammering up through the middle and downhill running, protecting the football, and Miles picks up 5 more on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 5, and it looks like another senior leader for South Summit, Fillmore, out for the Wildcats, and Strocker gets the catch, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 44, 45-yard line. That'll move the chains for South Summit. First down. So South Summit on the move already with Miles and Strocker.
3 good plays right there. So right, all from behind the line of scrimmage.
Fillmore looks like a shoulder or a collarbone or something down there as he's all wrapped up. And hand off to Miles again up the middle and still moving forward.
Wow.
Hagen Miles, even on one leg, is pushing the pile forward. And Miles, being just a junior, good promise for next year as well, as they have some options. A lot of these playmakers out here, younger guys, and it'll be Atkinson with 2nd and 1. Good chance to try to something, and they just want to keep hammering with Miles, and Miles doing a good job getting the first down, and it's a heavy dose of the junior Hagen Miles. 1st and 10, South Summit, as they immediately march down into San Juan territory. Ball at the 23-yard line.
Now we'll
and
go to
not something we've seen this year.
No.
Ball control and smash mouth football. But like you said, you got to be able to mix up the game with the weather. And Strocker's got a chance. He's inside the 5, almost to the 1-yard line. And the playmaking of Keegan Strocker from that left side in motion, got the handoff, sweep right, and he picks up 23 yards on the play. He's inside the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, South Summit.
Here comes Hagen Miles calling the play. I guarantee it's going to him.
And Hagen and Strocker with 1 reception and a heavy dose of running. And South Summit proving they can score it as Atkinson's going to walk in on the fake. And Cal Atkinson will get the 3rd touchdown on the ground today for South Summit, as Coach Graycheck wants to go for 2, and that looks like Jackson Sargent out there, is it, Jeremy? 52.
52 it is.
So maybe they've decided it's time to loosen him up a little bit.
He's limping.
He's out there hobbling a little bit. But South Summit wants to go for 2, up 19-6 right here. And always
19-6 or is that 13?
It should be 19. We were 13.
Oh yeah,
we just so it'll be a chance here to go up by 15 if they can convert. And might be a chance to go right to Miles again. And they do, and he's going to be held short. Good job by San Juan as they prevent the 2-yard or the 2-point extra point from happening. But a nice drive by South Summit as they march the field on the ground. Miles and Stracker and Kel Atkinson finishing it off with the 2-yard keeper. And South Summit now goes up 19-6. South Summit strikes early.
Came straight off the field right to the ground.
Ugh. Tell you what, it's tough, isn't it, when it's your last game at home. You want to be on that field. But South Summit has got big goals this year, and they certainly need him in the future. Tough calls for players and coaches about how far you let these kids go, because they're doing anything they can to stay on that field. He's grabbing knees. He's trying to keep backs limbered up. And so injury bug kind of playing a role here. Lots of big contributors bothering with some injuries. And Dinah Farr always on the spot to help out. It looks like they're working on a knee at this point on Fox. So Georgia will be kicking into the wind. South Summit leading by 2 touchdowns. 10-14 left, second quarter. And give you an update on some other scores in 2A as 2 more games getting underway at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. So we'll get you some updates as the semifinal round next week. And 4 teams will be marching on as Georgie with the kickoff. Deep, high kick, held up in the wind and taken by Eldridge. And he'll fake the handoff. He's trying to get to the corner, and South Summit will pin him down just outside the 25-yard line. Number 13, one of the first there for South Summit, and that is Connor Clegg, been on several tackles on special teams. Thank you. He's eluding me there for a minute. All right.
Man, Fox is really getting looked at on that sideline. Doesn't look good.
Delta 27-14 over North Sevier at halftime. And Beaver up early on ALA, 14-3 in the first. Eldridge with the snap, quarterback keeper up the middle. South Summit met him there. Reedhead, Stubbs, McNeil, all there, along with number 12, Dylan Crawford, the sophomore, stepping in at that middle linebacker spot. Jackson still not playing defense. He's been out. What did he go out on, that extra point?
He went on the extra point. That was it. No, he might have been out there on the offensive line or something.
Line. So it'll bring up 2nd and 9 for San Juan. So who's come in for Fillmore?
Got Georgie, we got Stracker,
on that
and
right side, Midkirk. Nice
yes.
catch by number 13. Good hard run by number 13 for the Broncos. That is Carlos Rios-Red. And he'll pick up the first down. So Eldridge picking up where he left off in that second quarter. And he'll move the chains for the Broncos. 1st and 10 out to the 44-yard line. He's putting some impressive stats together himself for the Broncos with 9:24 left. And San Juan on the move.
He's had a lot of luck on that left-hand side with the receiver.
Has, and they even roll him off into that side too. And Ivans getting held up. Is that McNeil?
Oh, yeah.
McNeil again. Outstanding work inside by Wyatt McNeil throughout this ball game. Ivans is a big back, too. Ivans has got to be close to 200 or more pounds. And McNeil met him hard, holds him to a 1-yard pickup. It'll bring up 2nd and 9. Ivans having an outstanding game for San Juan as well. And this time he'll go out in the slot side on the right. And Vest back with Eldridge. Eldridge, high snap. It goes over his head. And he will jump on it and does the wise thing. Some senior wisdom right there. Got to avoid the temptation of still trying to make something out of it.
It's too bad for San Juan.
And that is a tough break because that thing takes him back, how many? 15 yards roughly. It's going to bring up 3rd and incredibly long. And that's a bit of a drive killer for the Broncos. See if they can't put some together. And 3rd, got to get all the way to the 46-yard line of South Summit. Ball sits at the 31-yard line. So 23 yards to go for San Juan with 8:05 and the clock running. And really a quick game here tonight at South Summit as a lot of teams running the ball, marching that clock, and Eldridge is going to roll left, have to turn his body, trying to go back across the field. Right there, and it's Strocker. And Strocker's got blockers out in front of him, picked up. He's trying to get across field. He cuts it back. Strocker's got a chance. Touchdown, Keegan Strocker. Beautiful run. And a late hit deep into the end zone. And another one comes out, and tough break at the end as Keegan Strocker, beautiful played in the middle of the field, and he runs it back close to 50 yards. Late hit comes in from San Juan out of frustration, but a backbreaker right there for San Juan as Strocker takes it to the end zone on the interception, and things starting to go South Summit's way early in this third quarter. Two flags is a meeting put on by the officials about what to do with that late hit, but Strocker got taken down way deep into the end zone, almost back by the second pylon. I don't know if that second flag was out of retaliation.
I think it was. I mean, it had to be. That's what I saw.
I mean, that's tough not to react there. Yeah, it's tough not to react. Trying to protect a teammate. It reminds me of that play last night if you were watching Baltimore when, what's the quarterback for the Ravens?
Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco just got tattooed by Alonzo of the Dolphins. Kind of slid late, and he come in with a forearm and just took his helmet off, split his ear open, and a lineman came to his defense and just took down Alonzo. Flags flying everywhere in chaos. It didn't get quite that bad down there, but late hit on Strocker as they're trying to figure it out. The touchdown will stand, and the clock scoreboard goes now up to 25-6. Looks like the officials are done meeting as they try to iron this out. So the head official comes over to talk to Coach Graycheck.
Coach sends his team away.
He's got lots of
Wish I had that much power. Can I put my hand up and make 11 people walk away?
11 kids walk away, so he's getting the word, and he's not liking the explanation from what it's looking like to me.
It's the retaliation, but you have to call it.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter if the kid deserved it or not, you got to protect your teammates. If you retaliate, it's got to get called.
What would really be tragic here is if something happened to where somebody wasn't able to play because of a retaliation on a play that obviously went South Summit's way. South Summit puts the touchdown on the board.
They can't call that back, can they?
No, they can't call that back, but I just worry about if it was a punch retaliation or something to where you get ejected, then you're sitting out part of the next game as well. So
it's too bad. It's too bad you got to protect your player.
Yeah, it's too bad that happens late, and I'm sure just out of frustration on the San Juan end, but just can't lose your head in something like that. And clearly scored and 10 yards deep into the end zone. So they'll get this ironed out. We still haven't gotten a call as to what the penalties are. So obviously a dead ball personal foul, late hit on San Juan. Dead ball personal foul on South Summit.
Offsetting.
And what does that mean? Are they going to apply it? No, they can't apply it on the kickoff. I don't know what that pointing means.
You know what that means, Earl? Nope.
The official pointed back to like, we're going to apply it on the kickoff, but if it's on both teams, it would be offsetting. Luckily, no one was ejected, which is good. And hopefully no one got hurt. But a big, big play for South Summit as Strocker gets his second touchdown of the day, one on the running end, and this time with the interception. And so Keegan Strocker puts South Summit up by 19. And Gustavo from Brazil gets his points. I like that. Gustavo Vitale from Brazil playing some American football. He scores, and he gets the extra point. Gosh, you got to like to see that.
Not?
Kudos to South Summit coaching staff as the kids loving playing some American football. He loves soccer, but, hey, if you're living the American experience for a year, you might as well play some football.
That's right.
You notice he's got a good leg. Looks like he's done it all his life. So good job there, Gustavo, getting the extra point. 26-6 lead for South Summit. Things going well for the Wildcats early in this third quarter. as they march down the field on the opening possession. And then with the interception and the pick six, South Summit leads now by 3 touchdowns. And San Juan now going to have to change some strategy to where they're going to have to try to score a little quicker than they've wanted to. And they've done a great job of keeping this game close. But things starting to get away from them a little bit, as they're now going to receive the ball in good position, as Georgie will have to kick off into this wind. I'm still not sure why he pointed to midfield. Too bad we don't have a mic.
I don't know.
Who knows? All right.
We might never know the answer.
We may never know. 7:40 left.
But
Georgie to kick off for the Wildcats.
Wildcats playing their game coming out in the second half, aren't they?
Amen. And severely undermanned as well. And Georgie kicks it off nice and low. Good job, Georgie. Ball's down to the 6-yard line. And number 2 for the Broncos.
Good return.
He's taking it back, still in bounds. Gets it across the 35-yard line.
Number
2, was it 5?
Yes. Cole Georgie, the punter.
With
the kicker.
Kicker knocking him out. Sean Nilsson with the return. Good return for the Broncos. And it'll be 1st and 10, San Juan.
San Juan needs to do something here in this drive, stay in this ball game. They did a great job staying in it the whole time. In this last, I'd say, 2 minutes, things just kind of turned around. So let's see if they can figure it out on their offense.
7:32 left. Quarter and a half left in this ball game. In motion goes Ivans. And handoff to Ivans around the left side. He hits the corner and hits hard.
Oh, wow.
And knocks the South Summit defender back.
61. That's
So
Gordon Hermanson.
big hit. Hermanson and Georgie there to drive him out, but Ivans picks up good yardage. And it'll bring up now 2nd and 3. Ivans picks up 7. Things starting to get a little rougher here, isn't it?
It sure is. Getting a little touchy out there.
So, snap high again. Goes inside to number 13 for Carlos Rios Red with the carry. He gets about half of what they needed for that first down. Bring up 3rd and a long 1.5 yards, 2 yards. So it'll bring 3rd and short for the Broncos. Need to convert right here. And they've done a nice job of preventing. And we go back to 2 big plays. That snap over their head and that big holding penalty really changed the outlook of this game. Ivans gets the corner again, and he's going to pick up good yardage. Gets it across midfield out to the 46, 47-yard line of South Summit. So going back to what's working, and that sweep left has done well as he's been able to get the corner. Last 2 attempts, he picks up the first down, and Ivans continuing to have a great game for the Broncos. Coming out will be Drew Howard.
Stubbs goes in. Replace him.
And Stubbs into that right defensive end spot. So 1st and 10, Broncos. 6:36 and counting. Eldridge trying a little quick hitter, a little out, 5-yard out to Nilsson. Nilsson's going to be close to the first down. And San Juan just chipping away, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a pop. He's close to the first down. And he's going to pick up about 9 on the play. Ball's down to the 38-yard line. And that'll give another manageable 2nd and short for the Broncos. Eldridge, again, continuing to be very efficient offensively. Managing this offense for San Juan. Gets the snap, this time quarterback keeper. And nothing there for Eldridge as he needed to get to about the 37-yard line to pick up the first down. He's actually going to lose a yard or 2, and the ball's back at the 40. So good job by South Summit.
That was Gordon Hermanson.
Hermanson again there. And Bonner Mitchell in now. Is Wyatt McNeil on the sideline?
Bruce.
Is he out there? Saw Mitchell's out there. Handoff to Ivans. Good yardage up the middle. Ivans still falling forward and finally gets driven back out across the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, San Juan. And they are continuing to move the football and doing just what needs to be done here with 5:51 left, 3rd quarter. And there's McNeil right there coming in as Hermanson doing a good job filling in for McNeil, who went out with some leg problems as well. So 1st and 10, San Juan into South Summit territory at the 32-yard line. Eldridge. A little bit of a high snap, fake handoffs, into trouble, and Alex Johnson with the sack with help from Cole Stubbs. And South Summit with a big defensive play, and the junior left defensive end comes from that weak side, and he gets the big, much-needed sack for the Wildcats, drives Eldridge all the way back to the 39-yard line, loses about 8 yards on the play, bring up now 2nd and 18.
Great play by Alex Johnson. He's done that so many times this season, getting at that quarterback, and I don't think there's been a more ideal time at this game than that right there, because San Juan was moving.
They're on the move. 4:51 left, trailing by 3 touchdowns. Eldridge with the snap, dropping back, trying to set something up. He goes out wide, nothing there, and Eldridge gets hurt again. Johnson showing some good sportsmanship, helping him up. But 3rd and long now for San Juan. And probably looking at 2 down territory here, so probably ideally would like to at least split this thing in half. If they can get it to 7 or 8 yards and try to do a couple of quick outs or maybe a draw or something where they can minimize this long 4th down situation. A field goal at this point doesn't do you a lot of good. Down 3 touchdowns as we're getting close to the end of this 3rd quarter. Eldridge under some pressure. There's Johnson coming again, flushing him out of the pocket. And Eldridge gets run out of bounds after picking up maybe a yard. So another good job, and that time that was a coverage sack as South Summit secondary all over the receivers of San Juan. They drive Eldridge out of bounds. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 18 to go. Defense stepping up here.
That's
for the Wildcats.
Well, they're getting used to it, right?
Absolutely.
They're settling in and realizing, hey, I can play this role too.
And quick punt, almost blocked.
I thought it was.
And angling out of bounds. Great punt by number 2. Is that Nielsen? Beautiful, beautiful punt. My gosh, you couldn't place that any better. Great punt there by San Juan. Will pin South Summit deep, deep into their own territory. And it'll be 1st and 10 inside the 1-yard line. Kel Atkinson will come in for the Wildcats, with many of these guys having to go both ways with all the injuries. Miles, Stubbs, Strocker, Reedhead, Fox, and there Jackson Sargent is at his left guard spot. So Fox and Sargent having to play with injuries on that front line. They'll send Stubbs out wide to the left, Strocker in the slot left. He goes in motion. And probably Miles up the middle, and there's Miles getting good yardage and creating some room for the South Summit offense to operate as he picks up close to 8 or 9 on the play. Going to be up more like 7 as he gets it out to about the 8-yard line. He'll bring up 2nd and a long 3. So Hagan Miles, outstanding work on the ground again. And one-on-one outside here on the edge. This time it's a quarterback keeper. And Atkinson still going. Flag comes in.
I think he fell out of his pocket.
Oh.
Oh, nope. He fell out of his pocket. Now he's throwing it.
So, I don't know if, I'm not sure what that is.
He went to grab it. It fell out. He picked it up and threw it.
So, let's see what's happening here. Atkinson would have picked up the 1st down. It's got to be a holding call.
Face mask.
Face mask on San Juan. So, that will give South Summit the 1st down. Looked like that was the 5-yard variety. It didn't say it was a personal foul. So 5-yard face mask on San Juan. And that will give some room for South Summit now out to the 20-yard line. Atkinson and Miles this time on the ground. And again, South Summit's got some room now with San Juan starting to creep up. They got Strocker across the middle and almost laying out. Strocker as Atkinson led him a little too far, but Strocker with some room to work across the middle and had to leave his feet to try to reach out and get that one too far. Bring up now 2nd and 10.
Kale's got to be in his head after 2 picks to start off the game like that.
Tough.
You know, he kinda,
confidence starts waning a little.
You don't want to throw it close to any defender, that's for sure.
So 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. This time now, zone look for the Broncos as they drop back 2. They got Stubbs across the middle. Atkinson trying to find somebody. He'll tuck it. He's going to get close to the 1st down, and he'll pick it up.
Just
Ooh, right at the line. It looks like he stepped out right at the marker. We'll see where they give the progression to. And
oh, someone's.
Is that another flag?
Was it thrown back to him?
I don't know what's going on.
There's all sorts of weird things going on out there.
Might have been a helmet in the shadow. I don't know what it was. Those flags and those helmets are the same color. Nope, no penalty.
3rd and 1.
So, gosh, it's got to be 6 inches. Atkinson sends Georgie in motion. Georgie up the middle, still up. That time there is a flag down. Another flag comes flying in. Chaos all over the place.
51's looking. Fox is like, I didn't do it. Yeah, Fox did it.
Holding?
Yeah, holding on Fox.
Holding on South Summit. First guy to get up with his hands in the air is
That's
typically
right, that's
the
right.
culprit. So he'll march South Summit back again. Certainly not the cleanest offensive effort South Summit's had this year.
I'll have to agree with you there. I mean, it's not even really been a lot of penalties. We've had a lot more penalties in the past, but it's just not clean.
Yeah,
like you
it's
said.
just not a lot of continuity, fluidity here in this offense. 3:33 left, 3rd quarter. 3rd and 11. Atkinson fakes. He's got a lot of room left. He's got a man. Strucker coming back to it, shaking his way out of side, spins and gets out to midfield. Beautiful route and throw by Atkinson. And there's the Keegan Strucker, Cale Atkinson connection. Out to midfield. They pick up 25 on the play. 1st and 10, South Summit.
How about the last 6 yards Strucker picked up on that catch there?
I'll tell you what,
two
he is
defenders.
just shifty, man, in the open field. He is tough to bring down. Little mix-up. Atkinson trying to make something out of nothing. He's stiff-arming and picks up 5 on the play. Good open field tackle by number 27 of the Broncos. That's Landon Pemberton, preventing a much bigger gain from Atkinson. Is somehow miscommunication in the backfield between Atkinson and Miles.
Look at Miles' jersey all ripped up.
Miles has been a warrior today on both sides of the ball. 2nd and 5 or 6 for South Summit. Ball into San Juan territory. 2:42 and counting in this 3rd quarter. Handoff up the middle. Lots of room for is that Danzy?
Midkirk.
Midkirk with the run, and Midkirk picks up 15 on the play, gets it down to the 30-yard line. Sebastian Midkirk with good speed up the middle, and the offensive line of South Summit now starting to enforce its strength there up front as they are opening up some big holes. Atkinson back to pass, trying to find somebody. He's going to tuck it and run again, and taken down from behind on another great tackle from San Juan.
That's 25 again.
Bess with the tackle, and Kel Atkinson looking like he's much more eager to run tonight than he has been in the past, and I'm sure it's pretty rare you throw interceptions running the ball.
That's right. Well, that's just a smart thing to do. You get a 20-mile-plus wind, then run more if you can, especially if you got the lead by 3 touchdowns.
Amen. Yeah, there's no hurry now as they send Midkirk in motion. Nobody in the backfield. Atkinson, pump fake. Now he's got Strucker across the middle, and Atkinson throws it short.
I think he just threw that away.
Strucker was trying to go across the middle. Atkinson will now have 3rd and 6 for the Wildcats. Plenty of time that time for Kel Atkinson. And it'll bring up now 6 yards to get to the 1st down. Ball's got to get to the 20. 3 men wide to the left. Georgie, Strucker, and Stubbs with Danzy out wide to the right. Midkirk now behind Atkinson in the backfield. Back to pass. He's trying to go. He's got a wide open man. Cole Georgie, touchdown, South Summit. As you can see Georgie going, nobody's around me. Do not drop this thing.
You saw that too, huh?
He did. He's like, come to me, ball. And he brings it in. Touchdown, South Summit. And Atkinson delivers with a 28-yard touchdown pass. And the Wildcats now breaking this thing open. 32-6 lead. And now Gustavo Vitale with the extra point.
Into the wind. Maybe
into
he's
the
wind kicker. Let's
see what Vitale's got. Kick is up, and it's good! Summit Vitale. We'll take a break. South Summit leading 33-6. Cole Georgie making big plays today. Big interception in that second half. Kicking well. Now gets the post route reception for the touchdown. And Georgie now waiting to get everybody lined up as South Summit's taking this lead out to 27. 33-6 lead for the Wildcats. And a big sigh of relief you can see just kind of going over as Georgie into the wind, kicks it into the end zone. Outstanding as Georgie's feeling it. I love seeing kickers get fired up.
Yeah.
As Georgie kicking, doing some safety work and doing some slot work today, doing an outstanding job for South Summit.
Well, you could have made a 45-yard field goal with that one.
That was a good kick. So San Juan now in some desperate measures as they're going to have to start going quickly offensively to put something together and on the board.
That's where the defense gets hungrier, isn't it?
Amen. That's when you ends start pinning their ears back.
Just like.
And pushing hard. Mitchell and McNeil preventing any kind of progress for Eldridge. Running the ball off that right side. They lose a half a yard. It'll bring up 2nd and 11. And can't say enough about McNeil inside today.
Done a great job.
He's done outstanding. Mitchell stepped in well. And now Howard and Stubbs on the outside at the end spots. Crawford in the middle with Miles and Reedhead, and Ivan gets the corner, picks up 5 or 6. He'll go to the 25-yard line. He picks up good yardage and will give a reasonable effort here on 3rd down. 3rd and about 5. Manageable situation for the Broncos. So like we said, we have not seen these lineups out there, personnel all year. And bad timing here for South Summit with some of these injuries, and hopefully
last week off and resting a little bit this week.
Hopefully a little bit of a week off to next week will hopefully get some of these guys back to full strength. As Eldridge dropping back, quick hitter across the middle, and nothing there. As Crawford breaking it up inside, and it'll bring up now 4th down and 5 as Alex Johnson checks in for Stubbs.
San Juan going to do down by this many scores?
Ooh, you hate to have to go for it right here, but you don't have a lot of options. They're going to choose to punt with the wind in their back, see if they can't pin South Summit back a ways, but Strocker and Danzy back. They're going to try to angle it, but this is going to give Strocker a chance, and Strocker will try this right side. Strocker trying to get to the corner. He's at the 50, the 45, and he'll get thrown out of bounds, and flags come flying all over the place. Either a block in the back or a holding here on this left side. So that'll pin South Summit back a few more yards as Strocker tried to get to the corner and did get some positive yardage, but we'll see how they march this off. Looks like they're going to march it off from the San Juan 40. So block in the back on South Summit. So that'll take South Summit back into their own territory.
Like you said, between that holding and that block in the back, you could probably find it every single play if you wanted to.
It's just insane sometimes. And it's always amazing to me sometimes the timing of some of them.
Yeah.
Like that one on San Juan, it's just real bad timing for the Broncos, man. Mm-hmm. This could have been a whole different game. 13-13 going into that third quarter.
How many? 54. 51.
So it'll be 1st and 10 right at midfield for South Summit. 51 seconds on the clock.
Wind died down a lot out there on the field.
It has.
So Atkinson continuing here to lead this South Summit offense. And trying to get the chains working on that opposite side.
Get something broke over there, huh?
Last football game here at South Summit High School for the football season.
We just got to get the equipment to last one more hour. Not even.
13 more minutes of football. And now Atkinson. 1st and 10, ball at midfield. In motion goes Strocker. Snap, little quick one. And Atkinson trying to find somebody. Now he's going to have to run it. He's getting right. And another great open field tackle.
All on the San Juan secondary for that.
Good job by the defense of San Juan. And a great open field tackle again on Atkinson. By number 27 has had some great open field tackles. That's Pemberton doing a good job. Atkinson only picks up about 2 on the play. And like you mentioned, Kel just seems to be a little more apprehensive today to let that ball go. In 2nd and 8. Little quick hitter out to the side. Oh, great catch by Reedhead. One-handed brings it in, and Cole Reedhead. Nice job by the senior. Getting the high ball up over top of his head. Pulls it in with the left hand. Picks up about 6 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Cole's always a scrappy little
He
player.
Is always a good little player.
Freshman.
He plays both ways, linebacker and this slot spot. So 3rd and short. Be a good time for Miles.
There it is.
And they're up the middle, and San Juan. Did they lose the ball? He's lost the ball.
San Juan has it.
San Juan turnover on the exchange from Atkinson and Miles. And that will end our third quarter on the turnover from the Wildcats. 12 minutes of football left here at South Summit High School. Wildcats leading 33-6. So at the start of the fourth quarter, 33-6 lead for South Summit. As they now will go on the defensive side of the ball with the fumble. San Juan recovering at the end of that third quarter. And in motion goes Ivans. Ivans gets the handoff. Little halfback pass. He's got his man out to Nilsson. Nilsson at 25. He's still up and cuts it back. He's got a blocker in front of him. Nilsson at the 15 and finally tripped up. Good play call by San Juan and beautifully executed by the Broncos. And Nilsson on the pass from Ivans picks up good yardage, and that puts San Juan down to the 15-yard line. And San Juan's been setting that play up a lot as Ivans has run that play a half a dozen times in the last quarter or so. And that was perfectly executed. Now in business, San Juan inside the 20 of South Summit.
That was great. I mean, he had both defenders
It's
10-yard separation.
Yeah, it's too bad that he wasn't led a little bit more. He probably could have stayed out in front. He had to stop a little bit for the ball. That allowed the South Summit defenders. Reverse. Ivans, there he is this time on the run. And now flying up, Strocker and several others coming to chip him up. And that is number 54, Mitchell, 12, Crawford, and 11, Stubbs, all helping out to bring the big back Ivans down, and he's going to lose 5 yards on that play. It'll bring up 2nd and 15.
That was too bad on that play call for San Juan. All that momentum, and boom, lose 5 yards just like that.
So 2nd long, got to get to the 6-yard line for the first down.
Next year, this could be you out there.
Scores around now. Beaver leading ALA 35-3. Grand up 14-2 on Millard. And Delta still leading by 13, 27-14. Eldridge trying to go up high. Jump ball situation.
Nice.
Broken up nicely by Jared Danzy on the play. Didn't lead the tall receiver enough on the outside, so it'll bring up 3rd and 15. Torgerson, the intended receiver.
Hard to lead somebody in this wind.
It is. And he threw it from this left hash, too, so it was a long way in the air. Danzy did a nice job waiting for that ball and knocking it away with that right hand. 3rd and 15, Broncos. In motion. Rolling right, in some trouble.
Oh.
Johnson almost got to him. Eldridge trying to find some room, nothing there as McNeil comes from the backside along with
Was it Stubbs
51,
again?
is that
61. That's
61, is
Hermanson,
that
right?
Hermanson?
Yep.
Hermanson with a good tackle as well as Hermanson getting to play a lot of defense today as well, filling in for Fox. So Hermanson going both ways, playing some outstanding football as they've tried to keep these tackles who go both ways. McNeil, Mitchell, fresh in that middle.
4th and 11.
4th and 11. Almost probably a last gasp here for the Broncos to try to football game. I dare say his best elementary. And that is Danzy place, and he is going to as well. Handoff up the middle to Danzy.
All for the Wildcats, just running down that clock, pounding away.
3rd down. Handoff Danzy now, as it's been a lot of miles and a lot of Midkirk. Now they move Midkirk out wide to the right. Georgie in the slot. And a little fake handoff. Back. Oh! And couple of big hits as Sargent comes back and absolutely hits Vess incredibly hard on the crackback block. And give Vess credit to get up from that one, as that was a good hard hit by Sargent on the block.
Sorry for blowing out your ear.
Woo! Wow. And now under pressure. And a big block on Mitchell throws it. Big block to save Atkinson as Atkinson throws it out of bounds. And South Summit now putting the hurt on offensively with these blockers. Mitchell and Gordon, consecutive big blocks.
Both on number 25. Is that Vess?
Vess. So it'll bring up now 2nd and 10. Handoff up the middle. That Danzy or Midkirk?
Looks like Danzy.
That's Danzy. So Danzy now getting several carries here late in this ball game. Picks up 7 on the play. And it'll bring up now 3rd and 3.
Strocker in motion.
And pitch to Strocker right. Strocker gets across the 5, tries and he's into the end zone. Strocker lowering the shoulder and gets in for the touchdown. 39-6 South Summit. And South Summit now is going to move its way into the semifinals, as it's been all South Summit in this second half. 13-6 or 19-6 ball game at the break, but South Summit has rattled off 20 consecutive points with Vitale with a chance to take it up to 40. And the snap a little high. Vitale with the kick. And Vitale, Gustavo Vitale, good. 3 in a row for the Brazilian man. And it's a big lead for South Summit, 40-6. Georgie will kick off for South Summit. 7:04 left. As it appears, South Summit will move on to the semifinal round of the 2A football championship as Georgie had a busy day today kicking the ball. And he boots one high and deep. It's going to be taken by Eldridge at the 3. Eldridge goes left, finds some room, across the 25, and he's driven out of bounds at the 27, 28-yard line. And it'll bring up now a San Juan offense with 6:57 left.
They need 5 scores. 5 times 7 is 35. Gives them 41.
They need 5 touchdowns. And with 6:57, that's a pretty tall order.
Going to be tough. How's the Wildcat defense look like? They still got some starters in there, don't they?
It's still the same crew.
It is.
So Eldridge now in the shotgun. And handoff to number 13, Rios Red, and he picks up 4 or 5 on the play. Good run for the Broncos. 2nd and 5.
It's a senior crew. I think everyone but Crawford out there is a senior. Oh, no, there's Johnson, too. Never mind. I thought maybe he was trying to get the seniors some last home playing time.
Could be it. You got Miles out there as well.
Oh, yep. Crawford.
Crawford, Miles, and who, Mitchell?
And Johnson and Mitchell.
Yep. Ah! Good block put on by San Juan, and good ball deception. On the fake, Eldridge keeps it. He picks up 2 or 3 more. Bring up 3rd and 3. And San Juan would love a first down right here. Keep this clock running. As we mentioned, Millard just getting close to halftime, trailing Grand 14-2. Beaver starting to extend now against American leadership, 42-3. And no update now on the 27-14 game of North Sevier. Eldridge drops back. He puts it up. Nice catch. And spinning out of the defender is number 3, Ivans, with a great catch on the pass from Eldridge.
Passing
picks up good yardage.
I'm pretty sure. I just don't know if it's offense or defense.
Flag on the play out on the right side, and it looks like South Summit's marching back. Pass interference on South Summit. That'll be declined. So nice play by San Juan as they move the ball across midfield into South Summit territory.
Cody, looking forward, do you know who our possible opponent could be for next week?
We play the winner of Grand and Millard.
Grand and Millard, huh?
Yep.
And have we seen?
We haven't seen Grand. We played Millard in region play. And it's a good hard-fought game as well. Millard making huge progress this year. So they had a little bit of a down year last year, but has made an excellent turnaround. 7-3 on the year, and Grand has only lost 1 ball game to Beaver. So a lot of great teams in 2A this year, all vying for that 2A championship. Beaver has held the title the last 2 years, beating South Summit in the championship game. And South Summit would love to get back there again. 2nd and 9 for the Broncos. Eldridge, hands off, good running room up the middle. That's Vest. Vest, good cutback. He's still going, trying to get a block from Torgerson. Cuts it back. He's down to the 11, 12-yard line. And give Vest credit on a great run as he's taking some hard hits, playing both ends, and he's still fighting hard. Always one thing you can always count on out of San Juan teams is they never give up and still fighting hard here late into this game as Vest picks up good yardage, and he'll be inside the 15 to the 13. So, 1st and 10, San Juan.
There they are, rolling. Why not? Keep playing football.
For many of these seniors, obviously, all of these seniors, be their final football game of their careers at San Juan. South Summit seniors will live to play another day. Eldridge, little swing pass out right to Ivans. Ivans, good yardage. He's going to pick up the first down, and he's close to the goal line. Down to the 2 to 3 yard line. So another great play from Eldridge to Ivans. And they'll be 1st and goal inside the 3. And as we mentioned, still,
San Juan's players, they got a bunch of playmakers too, don't they?
They do.
We've been calling the same names.
Absolutely. It's been hard fought. Now, like you said, this game was a lot closer than it appeared at halftime, as it was one flag away from a tie ball game. And a couple of bad breaks from San Juan, and this thing could have been a whole different outlook. And Eldridge gets stood up and driven back
There's
by
Crawford.
Dylan Crawford and helps Eldridge up. But a good hard hit by Dylan Crawford.
Sophomore filling in.
Absolutely, for Jackson Sargent, and he's going to lose a yard or two. Moves the ball back to the 4 yard line. So Eldridge, high snap, comes down with it. Eldridge has got a chance to get in.
Did he get in?
And just going to be short. So just getting word here as we look ahead to next week. South Summit will play in the first semifinal game next Saturday, November 4th at 11 a.m. at Weber State University. So they'll be at Weber State next week, down at the semifinal round at 11 a.m. So, Vest in the backfield. Eldridge tries to quick snap it to get in, and let's see if he's able to squirm his way in.
It's falling that way.
And no word yet.
Number 2, Shaw Nielsen's calling for the touchdown.
And no touchdown. So it'll bring up now 3rd down. The ball is just hovering over the line, as the tip of that thing's got to be within inches. So 4th down, goal to go. Looks as though Beaver will be moving on to the semifinals as well. Still no update on the Delta North Sevier game. They were the other 4 o'clock game, and finally San Juan punches it in. Touchdown, Broncos. And that will move them out to 12 on a nice drive put together by San Juan. And a good hard-fought drive put on by the Broncos. I'll tell you what, I got to hand them a lot of credit, as they have played a heck of a tough game today and really made South Summit work incredibly hard for this win.
They sure did. I mean, you can't say enough how just one play turned this whole thing around. It could have been 13-13 without that flag. Halftime, and that changes everybody's philosophy in the locker room.
Eldridge with the big booming kick.
No good.
And it's no good. So we'll take a break with 2:22 left. South Summit well in hand. 2:22 left. Impressive drive put together by San Juan as they go to the length of the field, methodically moving the ball, and they score on a 4-inch dive for the touchdown. That's about as close as you can get.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. You'll take it. And a little fake handoff, Strocker, and he crosses. He's got it. Good yardage, and he's going to get across the 50, and he'll get drugged down, not quite to the 50, at the 49-yard line as he fell back. And it'll be first down, and here comes the young offensive unit for South Summit. And Coach Graycheck getting the young guys a chance to play in a playoff game here at home. So an outstanding effort, especially in this second half by this South Summit team. They put up big points on big plays, and they make what was a very, very tight, tough game into what appears to be a lot bigger span, and it is, but
27-6 in this second half, I think.
It's been a good round for this second half for South Summit. Jace Crystal in to quarterback for South Summit. They send number 13 in, and the handoff to Crawford. And Crawford now getting a chance to carry the football. And he picks up 4 or 5 on the play.
Well, looks like we got 4 subs. So he's going to give everybody a little bit of time here. That's good. We got wide receivers there. 24, Braden Stevens. Wide right.
And Crystal will keep it. And he'll pick up 2 or 3. Actually, he'll pick up about 1. So many more coming in. Read their names. Let's see. We got
numbers.
23.
Wesley Jensen.
32.
McCall Rose.
40.
Caleb Butikofer.
Let's see. We can't get a few more names on here. Pitch right, Crawford. Crawford now across the 40 to the 37. It looks like we got number 23. Did we get him?
Got 75, Cooper Loftus, and 23 was Wesley Jensen.
66.
66. We got a little action coming from Rhett Waters.
75.
75 was 55. Cooper Loftus. 55 was Bridger Prescott.
24. 45.
Braden Stevens and K.O. Fitzgerald.
6.
Kai Housel.
And 82.
Landon Nunneviller.
All right, so lots of guys getting out here with 1:10 left. 1st and 10, South Summit. Pitch right again to number 40 this time for South Summit, Caleb Butikofer. And he picks up 2 or 3 yards on the play. And so we'll bring up now 55 seconds.
A freshman sighting.
Did we get number 7?
Number 7.
Dylan Uteraldi in. Who else? Saw another number I hadn't seen.
58.
Yeah, 58.
I think that's Levi Fox.
And a little fake pitch. Crystal. He's going to be across the 35, and he'll be hit hard down at about the 33-yard line, and that may do it as he stays in bounds. But an outstanding effort all the way around for South Summit on a bit of a banged-up crew of Wildcats. But with 15 seconds left, did we get everybody? Did we get a 45? We got a 45. Fitzgerald, 25. We got...
They're not going to have enough time to get this
off. They're going to have to hurry. 4, 3, snap it. He got it off. One last carry up the middle, and he goes down to the 24. Good run to finish off this game. But an outstanding effort by both teams on a very hard-fought matchup between 2 great rivals historically who have met in playoffs multiple times over the last 20 years. And South Summit ties up the all-time series at 7-7. Might as well just as well as San Juan forever had South Summit's number, beaten South Summit 3 times in the state championship over the last 20 years. And this time South Summit will get the win, and congratulations to the Wildcats.